Welcome back to another exciting episode of Spitball Media Podcast, Thanksgiving edition. This is our weekly look where we just spit right through the top entertainment stories each and every week. We have a nice discussion. We have some people in the chat, and then we do a little extra show afterwards. My name is John Draper. Joining me on our weekly discussion, as always, is the Prince of Philadelphia, Mr. Shaheen Shah. Are you there?
I am here, man. It's fucking rainy and gloomy here, but from my understanding, it's no one near you, so I'm thankful for that.
It's awful. It's sleeting and snowing, and it's just terrible. I don't know how else to say it. It's just absolutely terrible. And of course, the king of the Midwest, the mayor of Burleytown himself, fresh off a Burley episode for the Patreon, Mr. Bisho Brian. Bisho Brian, how are you?
Doing fabulous. Super. Thanks for asking, I guess I should have said. I miss Big AL. I name dropped Big AL on my show this week, and I miss Big AL.
I know. I miss him too. We got to get him back. We got to get him on the show. We can get Big AL on the show.
That'd be amazing. Matt and Trey on our show.
No, just Big AL. I don't want Matt and Trey. I want Big AL and Mr. Garrison. I'll settle for Conrad at this point. But
no. You do a better Conrad than I do, but could you imagine him?
I know. I'll just do a whole episode talking to myself as Conrad for the Patreon. If you're joining us for the first time, thanks for checking us out. But you want to go to the Patreon. Give yourself that holiday gift coming up. Shah, for the holidays, could someone give themselves a better value than the $5 monthly Patreon at patreon.com/spitball media?
They cannot, but I think my microphone is messing up, so I'm probably gonna have to come back in. You guys can't hear me that well, right? Does it?
No, you're fine.
Sound fine?
Yeah, you sound great.
You're fine.
Because it gave me a notification that it got unplugged, and when I plugged it back in, it didn't recognize it. So I'm good.
I hear you clear as day. What do you think about that, Bisha? I think he's fine.
I can hear him too. It was doing that to me the last couple of times, and after I rebooted, I was okay. So,
well, never mind.
Yeah, it sounds like it's fucking with you, Shah. But you know what? Well, what's not fucking with you is that thousands of hours at our Patreon.
I'm fucking with it. And you should too. Go ahead and subscribe. $5 a month. Fuck with it. It'll fuck with you back. That's how we do over here. Fuck with us.
That's how we get things done over here. And Bisho O'Brien, you just dropped a Burley holiday episode a couple days ago, right?
It was an extra Burley. I got sick of working one night, and I just turned off my computer, and a little bit of horror movie talk inspired by John's friend Chunky Larry. And then taking the piss out of Meltzer and Alvarez for rats deserting a sinking ship. So shit like that. Always some surprise. Oh my God. It was so cathartic. Cause I haven't done a wrestling podcast in like 2 years. Yeah. So when I get to talk about stuff like that, I've been sitting on it for a while, and it was fun. So go check it out. Patreon.com/Spitball Media.
I'm sorry, Bisho, can you repeat that link?
Patreon.com/Spitball Media.
Yeah, and don't forget, Patreon people, we're going to do another bonus show at the end of the month for you as well. Obviously, with the holiday, it's a little tricky. And then next month, guys, it's going to be a big month around here. We're going to have to do our big blowout, year-end blowout, holiday hangout. We're going to do our top 5 horror countdown, our ever-evolving top 5 horror countdown. That's always a good show. I know, Shah, you're probably looking forward to that. That's probably one of our favorite shows of the year now.
Oh, yeah, man. I wonder if mine will actually change by the end of the year, because I don't know what else is coming out that could really make an impact on me that would move any of the candidates right now. So should be exciting, though. I'm pretty firm on my list, though, so far.
Yeah, I'm firm on my list. I actually made a secondary list, and I don't know if you guys did this, but we probably should, of course. I made a non-horror list, like completely devoid of horror, because there was so many good things that I saw this year that I liked. Bisho, when you really look at the year, this was a kind of an anomaly year for Hollywood in particular, because we had the strike, but we also had some of the biggest box office of all time.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like last year, we were talking about all the horror movies we liked. This year, it seemed like there was less overall movies, but a lot more good ones that came out. And I don't think I could put 2 lists out. I have to catch up. And now that I'm slowing down a little bit, I think I can, but no, lots of great shit. I still haven't even seen Killers of the Flower Moon. I want to go see Napoleon. Yeah, it's gonna be a busy holiday season.
Yeah. So let me ask you guys a real quick question, and then we'll get it rolling here. If you could go to any movie tonight, like right now, with everything that's out there right now. Shah, what would you go see if you had the time? Just within a minute, you would be sitting in a theater, eating the popcorn, and going through the previews. What would you be seeing right now if you could go to the movies?
Without a doubt, Napoleon. I can't express how excited I am to see that. So yeah, definitely Napoleon. Even though it's Thanksgiving, and I think the Thanksgiving movie would be fun. Napoleon, I really want to experience that in the theater.
Okay. B-Show, what about you right now? Wave a wand. You're going to the movies right now. Anything you want to see?
Probably Killers of the Flower Moon, just because
Yeah.
I really am disappointed I didn't go see that a couple weeks ago when it came out, and it just great reviews. I want to check it out. It's long though, so
It
I'll have to
is.
strap in and maybe put a
It
catheter
is.
in. So yeah,
It is. No, you'll be fine. And shout out to Chris Matthews, Joe Punches. It was like a last minute decision to go live. We had said we weren't going to go live. I told everybody we would at the last minute. So, thank you for hanging out with us. I know Joe Punches just saw, I think, Oppenheimer. He was blown away. So for me, I mean, I go to the movies all the time. Tomorrow, I am going to the movies, but I'm going to be taking my kid. I told her I'd take it to the movies. I said I'll take, and we're going to see the Holdovers with the Paul Giamatti movie, the Alexander Payne directed Paul Giamatti movie, which I heard is fantastic. I think it takes place in the 80s. It's about a teacher in a boys' school, a private school, and every year, the kids whose parents suck the most don't let them go home for the holidays, so they're stuck there. So a teacher has to stay there, and Paul Giamatti is the least popular teacher, and he's with the least popular kids, and it's him and the lunch lady having them watch these kids, almost like a breakfast club. And it just looks like such a good movie. And Edie watched the trailer, and she was like, "Can we go see that?" I was like, "Yeah, I love Paul Giamatti. I love Alexander Payne. He did movies like Election was his first big movie. He did a bunch of films that are escaping me right now. He did that weird movie with Lily Tomlin and Dustin Hoffman and Mark Wahlberg, the existential crisis movie. But he's great. And I love Paul Giamatti. I'm a big Paul Giamatti fan. So I'm going to be checking that out. Shah, I was going to go see Napoleon. If she balks, I'm going to Napoleon. I'm just going to spend half the day watching Napoleon tomorrow. But are you going to see it in IMAX, right? Or are you going to see it in regular showing?
No, it has to be IMAX, dude. That's
or
a movie
RPX.
That'll benefit off of being in IMAX. So I want to see that at full capacity. Last IMAX movie I saw was Beau Was Afraid.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you're overdue for an IMAX. And, of course, thank you to the many Patreons already in our Patreon. Hope you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. Thanks for always hanging out with us. And consider going. It's just $5. I mean, B-Show, that's not even a stocking stuffer at this point if you give the gift of a Patreon membership.
Yeah, you could fill your stockings for $100, or I guess you could pay someone else to fill your stockings for probably much less. Did you think it's more expensive to have someone jerk off in your socks or dry hand job on the pier?
It depends on who's doing the jerking, right, Shah? I mean, $100, you could probably get anybody to do that.
Yeah, I don't know about $100 nowadays, man. That's like $10, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
$100 is nothing nowadays.
You get we ordered pizza for like my kid and her friend and me, and my wife really wasn't eating. It was $70. Yeah, it was 2 pies and a calzone for $70.
Did it come with a real life Ninja Turtle for that much?
No, the guy. I mean, I'm just like, wow, $70, outrageous and egregious. But what's not outrageous or egregious is our Patreon. I mean, it's affordable. You get a lot of bang for your buck. It's interactive. There's a great group of people there. And in the new year, we're going to be banging out those Q&As again. So that'll be fun. Shout out to Johnny 718 Bravo. He's hanging out right now. And,
how much is a slice of pizza around you guys?
Plain slice, probably about $3 and change, like $3.75.
Yeah, like over here it's like $4.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy though. Like a slice of like just regular ass plain cheese pizza.
Yeah, I've noticed the slices are like this big now instead of like this big, like when they were like a giant triangle. Like the slices are like a mini slices.
So
like I don't
basically, we're charging you a slice of pizza a month.
Yeah, for a slice of pizza a month. Only you get access to like thousands of hours of entertainment, B-Show, right?
Yeah, and that's weird because out here we don't really have pizza by the slice unless you go to like if you're shopping at Costco and you grab something while you're walking out the door. It's like $1, $2, something like that. But most places around here,
one that stay cheap. Yeah, Costco you can still get a hot dog and a fucking pizza for like $1.50.
What's a BJ with swallowing? What is that in Costco? Like $8? Joe Punches has mentioned Sparrows is $4.99 for a pepperoni slice. Joe,
Yeah.
that's like Michael Scott going to Sparrows, like Sbarro's. What the fuck they call that? Sparrows? That's like mall
Yep.
pizza, bro. Come on.
Yeah.
They're only at the mall, right?
I guess so. No, they have storefronts in the
Do
city.
they?
Yeah, it's for tourists to eat. It's like Bubba Gump Shrimp House or some shit. Nobody.
Like
they'll sell
Fazoli's or places like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't lived in New York in a long time, but we wanted to get right. Well, let's just right to it because it is a holiday episode. It is the Thanksgiving episode, and on behalf of course, Shah and Bisho, we're wishing you from Spitball Media a very happy Thanksgiving. We hope you have a wonderful one, a safe one. Bisho, big holiday plans for the Thanksgiving? You guys traveling? What's going on?
No traveling, staying in town. We are dog sitting for the week, which has been a little. It's like having a baby, man. It hasn't slept all
Yeah.
night, but no. Tomorrow, just gonna lay low, get some extra stuff done around the house, and then Thursday go to my parents with my cousins for a big ass day eating and laying around.
Nice. Well, it's good that you're not hosting, so you don't have to like do anything really.
Oh yeah. We're a couple years away from that, and I'm enjoying being able to go eat, bring some shit with us, and fucking take off.
And what about you, Shah? What are you doing Thursday?
Just going to my mom's house, and my girlfriend's coming. So.
Oh, she's coming. Is this the first time meeting the family?
No. First
okay.
Thanksgiving though. No. But I'm banned from drinking because usually after Thanksgiving dinner I go out that night, and I kind of black out.
Nice.
So this year it's going to be a little bit more boring. I'm going to have to not go out. Well, Thanksgiving night is like the biggest drinking night, dude. I always go out.
Tomorrow night, yeah. Tomorrow night's the big night. That was the big hangout night.
Yeah, I get smashed.
Yeah, that was the big hangout night. I sent you guys. I'm going to that mansion in the Poconos. Did you guys check that link out I sent you?
No.
Did you see that shot?
No, I didn't see it.
I sent you a link. I'm staying in this like 9-bedroom.
Yeah, I remember you telling us about it.
Yeah, it's in. This is a different place. It's got like hot tub, sauna, badminton court, basketball court. The biggest, like it's just the most fanciest thing. It's the reason why we do this is because we can't get everybody in the same house. So my in-laws are like, I have a lot of siblings, but they don't have their own their big families. So whereas everyone in my wife's family does, she's got 5 siblings. So so when you add up everybody's kids, it's a lot. So you can't. I mean, where are you going to put all these people? So there's this giant house we're staying at, and it's going to be amazing. There's a lot of drinking, a lot of food, a lot of drinking. Like it's just you start drinking right away. Like you play like football, you play basketball. I got a lot of nieces and nephews. I always get them all riled up, and then there's the big meal happening. So I'm excited. I hate the traveling side of it, but I'm just it's gonna be nice to be in a nice mansion. Hopefully we don't get the shitty room, but I got my kid working on that to scope out a nice room for us. I want to get a room with a bathroom. I think it's like 9 bedrooms, 5.5 baths. Bisho. It's not a bad spread.
No, I was gonna say the worst room, and that's probably still a good deal. Are you gonna
Yeah,
get
I saw
the
it.
tank?
It's not a good deal. The worst room. It's not a good deal compared to everybody else getting there early, getting the master bedrooms with the fucking high-end bathrooms with the fucking nice toilets and shit. And I got to show up late with fucking my cracked out ass, my white beard. But it should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. You know, I prefer not to travel. I really do. I'm not really into traveling, but it's every other year we rent a place, a big place. And we live pretty good for those 2 days. The last one I was at, I was bombed from like Wednesday night to like Saturday 3 a.m, like just a perpetual edibles, bourbon, Guinness coma. So I'm looking forward to it. It's squad goals. But shout out to we got Dominic in there. What's up, Dominic? Can't beat the Irish whiskey. I'm with you on that, Dominic. I'm with you on that. So we hope
Jameson, dude. I fucking love Jameson.
Oh, do you? Yeah, I like Jameson too. I'm really into bourbon right now. I'm going through my bourbon phase. But hopefully you guys have a nice holiday there. Joe Punches is cooking, drinking peppermint schnapps, and getting fat. Yeah, I'm blowing up like a fucking balloon. I got to do something. I'm gonna have to do some serious working out. It's gonna suck, especially now that it's snowing where I am upstate, so it'll snow for the next 4 months. But I hear that new dog Bisho.
Yeah, we're gonna see how well this works out tonight. I might have to bring him in here with me so he shuts up.
Okay, what's the dog's name?
Actually, that might be Ralph because
Ralph?
that's our dog Ralph barking
Uh-huh.
because it starts with a T. I always forget it.
Is the dog's name Pootie Tang? That
It
would
is
just be a
Pootie
good
Tang.
name
Yeah,
for
it is
Pootie
Pootie
Tang.
Tang.
Sometimes I use Pootie Tang vernacular on my wife and children because they don't know what it is. Did I ever tell you guys that?
No,
Like they'll just get loud. I'll be like sabate, and they don't know what that is. And I'm just like, I love that it's Pootie Tang. Like I love that I use Pootie Tang slang sometimes. I'm just a fan. What can I say? I like the classics. But I want to talk a little bit because it is the Thanksgiving holiday. Obviously, it's a big deal. It's really the holidays are here. They're in full swing. They're going to be here for a while. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about the holiday movies that are opening this weekend. But Bisho and Shah, I will be attending yet another film. I don't know much about if you Shah, you're going to be going to Napoleon on Thanksgiving or what?
I'm gonna I'm off, so I can definitely go. I'm gonna check it out though. If I have to squeeze in between people to get a seat, I'm not gonna be interested. If it's not packed, which is what I'm hoping like the Thanksgiving movie is gonna be the one that's gonna pack them in, and I get to go to Napoleon without being squeezed in next to other people. But if it's too packed, I'm just gonna wait out another week. But I would love to see it this week though, if possible.
Yeah, I think you'll get a crowd. It's getting very solid reviews. Now, obviously, we're talking about the biopic with Joaquin Phoenix, the Ridley Scott movie. It's a blockbuster film. There's a little controversy to it. Most of it is perpetrated by Ridley Scott. And Shah, I don't know if you've noticed this, but Joaquin Phoenix is not doing press. Has anyone else saw this? He's doing no press. That might have been in his contract, but he is not doing any press for this film.
That's interesting. I don't know. I don't recall him ever really doing press other than Joker. What else? Bo was afraid.
Bo was afraid. I don't think he did press.
Yeah. Prior to that, he had Come On
for that
for
indie A24 movie, that black and white movie.
Yeah, Come On.
Yeah, I think he did press for that.
Did he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did. I don't. Does it matter? Does he need? I think he kind of needs to do press. Don't you think? This is a huge film for him.
I think a lot of these people try to be too artsy and keep the mystique. Like the Weeknd, he refuses to do interviews. He's never done an interview, ever.
Yeah, I just saw an interview he did shot with Anderson Cooper where he talked about how he doesn't do interviews.
Did he really? Maybe he started doing them now, but like beforehand,
I think he did it for Bo. I think he did it for Bo, and the whole thing was like he was talking, and it's great. I should have saved this clip and sent it to you guys. He's talking, and then he just stops talking. He's like, I don't want to say that. I don't really want to do this. I'm sorry. I don't like to talk about myself. I don't want to talk about myself. I don't care. I'm not someone who likes to talk about himself. Bisho, do you think it matters if the star of a blockbuster $200 million movie refuses to do press?
I don't know. Maybe it'll hurt the marketing of it because there's a lot of people that still watch Jimmy Fallon and people like that.
Absolutely.
So having them out there talking about it's obviously a good thing, especially if you're showing clips or like they know Joaquin Phoenix from Joker, but they may not know about this movie. But I don't know. A movie like Napoleon's probably going to have its audience anyway, so I don't know if it's going to really damage the movie.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about this controversy. So Ridley Scott is 81, maybe. I know he's in his 80s. And I guess he's entering into this phase, guys, where he's not playing the game like somebody half his age would play with the media. And some of the speculation about some of the things in the movie's getting very solid reviews. But some of the criticism of the movie is the historical inaccuracies. For example, Shah, I mentioned to you there is this scene, I think, where he's fighting the French. No, excuse me, where he's fighting, I think, possibly the Germans. I don't know this period of history that well, where he decides to hide, and then once they're crossing ice, they shoot cannons into the ice and effectively just decimate these troops. And there's speculation that that's not historically accurate. And when he's confronted with this, he's saying things like, "Go fuck yourself." Like that, even like the French themselves hate themselves, so even they don't even care. Do you think something like this matters? Do you think it's okay for an 80-year-old Ridley Scott to not be a pussy with the media or just be blatantly hostile to the media?
I don't think it matters at all. If he's in his 80s, Like, God forbid, this could be his last movie. I don't think the guy's here to impress anyone or watch his mouth or make more money. I think he's set in life. He doesn't give a shit. You know what I mean? And I don't need movies to be historically accurate. I mean, the horse scene, it probably looks cool as shit. Who cares, man?
That's what I'm thinking.
It's supposed to be cinematic. Like, if it's 100% historically accurate, it's probably going to be a little boring. You know what I mean? So they're going to have to amp it up a little bit. And I understand. I have no problem with that.
Show, what do you think? You have a star that's not doing press. That's probably by design. They probably knew the whole time they weren't going to get Joaquin Phoenix to do Jimmy Fallon or the Today Show. And then you have Ridley Scott basically taunting critics and the media in general, as you see here at B-Show. I mean, like, he doesn't seem to give a fuck. He's not intimidated by any of this.
No, I mean, he says that, you know, people say would-be historians questioning his accuracy. He says, were you there? Oh, you weren't there. Then how do you know? That's it's funny, but it's kind of dumb.
A little old man that yells at cloud.
Yes, a little bit. But dude, Braveheart is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's one of those movies where if it's on TV like Goodfellas and I catch it, I have to just stay there and watch it.
Okay.
That movie is not historically accurate at all,
God,
from
no.
what I've read.
No.
But
no.
It's probably a better story for the film that way because it's more concise or it's more dramatic. It's not meant to be like a historical documentary style film. It's a drama. It's a story about an embellished story about William Wallace. It would be like if they made a movie about King Arthur and people are like, well, there really was no King Arthur. It's like, okay, but that's not the point.
Robin Hood comes to mind. Robin Hood is something.
I mean, dude, look at Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah, well, that's pretty outrageous. Sorry, I'm stupid.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I know it's not a biopic, but like, it's entertaining. That's all that matters. You know what I mean? Like, who gives a shit? Apocalypto. I know it's not based on any actual people, but it's not historically accurate. Who gives a shit?
No,
it's entertaining.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know. Like, when critics come by and go, well, this scene with the horses and the water and the ice, we don't know that that's real. Me personally, I don't care. Like, I agree with Shah. I think it's cinematic. So I don't know that it alienates an audience as much as it attracts an audience. I'll give you, for instance, last year we had the Elvis movie, big movie, a lot of attention, very favorable reviews. The Austin Butler, people fell in love with that guy. There was a resurgence of people like discovering some of the music, whatever. It is an inaccurate film from almost from the beginning to the very end. And I'm in the theater, and I happen to just know a lot about Elvis through my dad. And there's a scene in the movie where Elvis is getting accused of being, I guess, too risque in his career, early in his career. This is where they start shooting him from the waist up because he's shaking his cock and all that other stuff. And they're calling it like, I'm not going to use the term they use, but they're calling it like black music, and that he's, that he's almost like in a way attracting the historically white audience to black culture, and that they want to ban him from TV and they want to get him to start being more like appropriate, and they want him to wear different clothes and not wear his hair. And Elvis was wearing eyeliner, and he was basically singing black people's music. Like, he stole it, essentially, not really stole it, but he was inspired by it. It didn't exist in the culture, so he was putting it in the culture. And he was very good friends with like B.B. King and all this stuff. So they made up this fictitious thing where he's playing this state fair on the same night that the Klan is having a rally in the same part, I guess, in Tennessee. And Elvis does a song called Trouble, which does not exist at this stage in history. And it's one of the highlights of the film, maybe my favorite part of the movie. But as I'm watching it, I know this is fake. I know he did not do this. He did not sing this song. This song wouldn't be written for years later. It works in the context of the film. It didn't ruin the movie for me in any capacity. I just don't know why, like Shah, do you think there's something about this culture that we're in where critics have to have some sort of contrarian opinion? Like, they can't just say, well, even though like some of this might be made up, it's still cinematically brilliant and it works in the context of the film, rather than go taking lots of liberties with Napoleon's history. Like, one of the things, Shah, where they made a joke that they said there's a scene where a cannon is shooting at a sphinx in Egypt, and they asked him if it was accurate, and he goes, "No, it just looked really cool." Like, you see what I'm saying? Do you think it's the critics, the actual film critics, their role as a contrarian? Is that what you think drives this thing where they have to attack the validity of a biopic? Because nobody really knows what's accurate or not. Like even what Ridley Scott says.
Possibly, but personally, I just think it's the access of internet. It gives everyone a voice. I think critics were probably just as bad 30 years ago. I mean, who do we have 30 years ago? Roger Ebert. I mean,
Siskel and Ebert.
Yeah.
But they were revered. They were.
Oh, that was two dudes on what channel was it on? It wasn't. It was
was in
PIX
Chicago,
or
right?
something. WB or yeah. There were Chicago Sun-Times movie critics, I believe.
Later on, though, the reruns used to be on something else. I forget. That's how I caught them.
Yeah, they were syndicated. I mean, they were in the culture. Everyone, you know who they are. I know who they are. My parents knew who they were.
Right, but those are two dudes. You know what I mean? Like, imagine giving that same voice to everyone on Twitter. Everyone can voice their opinion now and be a self-proclaimed critic. And honestly, like if you get a following, you can become a critic without going the same avenues that they did. So I just feel like I don't think people complain more than ever. I think it's the same amount of people, and just people are just as annoying and immature as they were 30 years ago. I just think you see more of it just because of the access to the internet. You know.
What about you? What about you, B Show? Do you think it's the internet, or do you think it's the critic having to be contrarian as part of almost their job in a sense? They don't want to appear too in line, possibly, with the director, the actor, the studio, the work.
Yeah, I see what Shah's saying about like the voices are amplified. Because when I was posting the shows last week in my feed, for some reason, it was like a montage of Siskel and Ebert reviewing all of John Carpenter's movies. And Roger Ebert is pretty reasonable and more likable and more like, I guess he wasn't reaching for stuff to look for. And it seemed like Gene Siskel was just being like a pompous, nose in the air ass. So now we have 1,000 of those people, and they're not as credentialed as Siskel and Ebert because of the internet. You have Rotten Tomatoes and the other stuff like the access. Like there's channels on YouTube that will, we see it in wrestling, we see it everywhere. Star Wars, comics, where they will go out and verbally blow these movies in these studios so that they get a check mark or they get certified. So I do think it has been amplified, but I have noticed, especially in wrestling circles, there's a lot of people that for some reason they have no credentials. They have no, I don't want to say ability because some do, but like you talk to some people who just will shit on everything. And it's like, first of all, what do you like? Second of all, what have you ever done to be this like hard in the paint, contrarian over everything? I don't know if it's just like they need to feel superior to everybody. I do think there is more of that. And maybe because of the amplification of the medium, there's more people that can do that. So they're more out with it. I don't know. It's just weird.
Well, I think internet also gave people the power, and almost like it's a disaster, to be honest. But everybody feels well, it's true. Everybody feels important. You know what I mean? Everybody feels way more important than they are. Have you paid attention to how many people claim they have haters that are like nobodies? Yeah, that's the internet for you, because it made people feel important. It made people feel like other people give a shit about you. And also, I mean, Letterboxd, with the existence of that, if you have a large enough following, you're now a critic.
Yeah,
you get monetized on YouTube. You do movie reviews. You get more views than the bloody disgusting some of these people do. You know what I mean? There's a guy. His name is Chris Stuckerman. He was a YouTube reviewer. He's been on here on this platform for like 10 years. And he does it full time now. And he's doing a movie now. He's a director. And it's like a pretty decently budgeted movie. It's not like a fucking $100,000 movie. It's like you can make things happen with the internet, but the downfall of it is it makes people feel super important. Like the clout chasing is crazy, which we'll get into later with a topic that I have. But
yeah,
I mean,
internet is like, a little bit.
Internet is like, it's making people go crazy, man.
Well, I'm curious to see who the audience shows up for Napoleon this weekend. It is a holiday weekend. It is a blockbuster movie. It looks like it cost a fortune. I'm excited to see it. It looks performance driven, but it also looks like cinematography wise, cinematic wise, it looks big. It looks like a big event type
It's an
movie.
epic picture, yeah.
It does look like an epic. It comes across like an epic picture. And
Yeah.
for me personally, I don't know a lot about Napoleon historically. I didn't learn a lot about Napoleon historically. He's a fascinating person. There has been some fun with the letters he wrote Josephine. Like he said, I'll be back in 3 weeks. Don't wash, I think was in one of the letters. No, this is real. I'm not making any of this up.
Dirty motherfucker.
Yeah. You can imagine. Wow. I mean, people weren't very hygienic back then anyway. But I love Joaquin Phoenix. I'm a fan of Ridley Scott movies. I'm excited to see it. And just some people talking in the chat here. Joe Punches. Yeah, you guys got Yingling Joe Punches. Get those black and tans, my friends. I'm a fan. Dominic is talking about the Queen movie. Yeah, initially the movie about Freddie Mercury, when Sacha Baron Cohen was attached to it, it was supposed to be a very raunchy, exploitive type film. And then the surviving members of the band didn't want the film to be like that. They went with their version, the more sanitized version. So, biopics to me, take it with a grain of salt. I don't know that there's ever been a very accurate portrayal of anything except maybe Passion of the Christ. That was very historically accurate. But yeah, we'll see how it does this weekend. Now, I want to talk about the movie Thanksgiving, not the event. We're talking about last weekend, Eli Roth's Thanksgiving, 16, I guess, years in the making, from a novel idea shot for a 2-minute trailer in a Quentin Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez double feature, is now a certified hit, a big horror film that just opened this weekend. Now, before I get to we get to the box office there, it's 82% critics, 78% audiences. Pretty damn good score there. Bisho, can we pull up box office perhaps? I don't know how the movie did. I know it had some pretty big competition there with the Hunger Games prequel. Obviously, there was some the kids movies, which I'm going to talk about in a second. I do want to see the box office. Where are we at there, B?
Looks like as of Sunday, 12.7 million.
Not that good. I wonder how much it cost. Maybe it's a 20 million. It can't be more than like a 20 million. 15. Okay. So it's going to be profitable, right? I mean, there's no getting around it.
I don't
imagine.
Well.
Yeah, I thought it would have done a little bit better. It's definitely doing well enough. What's that? 89% on Yahoo? What does that be, Show? I can't see that.
Google movies or Google users, 89% liked it, 7 out of 10 IMDb, and that 81% Rotten Tomatoes score. Very
impressive. So I just want to talk about this real quick, and then we'll talk a little about the film. I went and saw the movie at 12:50 on a Saturday, right, at the mall at a Regal Cinema. Now, unbeknownst to me, I did not look and see what else was opening. I just didn't. I get to the theater. For some reason, I spend the extra 50 cents to get my seat in advance. Like, Bisha, when you have a Regal card, when you have a Regal Cinema card, you could spend 50 cents and just reserve your seat right then and there, because you're not paying for the film. So anyway, I was like, fuck it. It looked like there was already some people reserving seats. I reserved a seat, a good seat, in the big row there in the big screen. So I get to the theater about, I think it started at 12:45. I get there at like 12:40. And there are maybe 100 people in the lobby. They're parents with very small children, mostly girls. Very small. I'm saying maybe the oldest is 8 or 9. They're everywhere. These fuckers are like everywhere. Like, I'm on a long line to get my shit, and I'm just blown away. And then as I look at the kids, I see they're wearing, I guess for trolls. Like, I don't know, Bisho, maybe you know more about this. Your kids are younger. Is there like some kind of thing you wear for the trolls, like the ears or something?
I don't know. They might have had that stuff. They obviously have the hair modeled after the dolls, but I forgot that was coming out last weekend. Yeah.
So not only, but that also, there was a Disney movie called Wish that was coming out. But I mean, Bedlam, guys. We're talking like, even like opening Barbie weekend, I didn't see this kind of craziness. And the one thing I thought about, this is just for me, was that a week prior, I saw the Marvels movie. I'm not going to bleed this topic to death. But when I made a comment that the Flash movie, which by the way will make more money than Marvels, Looks like statistically, if not, be a dead heat. And marbles cost more money. Oh, a children's author must have saw my tweet and put me on blast without, of course, including me, saying that this movie was made for young girls, and that the reason that middle-aged people don't like it because it wasn't made for them. Well, it's obviously not made for young girls either, because none of them were going to see this movie in its following weekend because it only did $9 million. So I don't know what the fuck that guy was. If I had the time, I would have took more to task. I don't do the internet fighting. It's just boring to me. Like it's meaningless. I don't care. But I thought that was fascinating that here's a bevy of mostly young children and none of them are going to see the Marvels movie. And when I asked my 18-year-old, what movie do you want to go see? I'll take any movie. She did not even contemplate going to see that movie. So I guess, I don't know, maybe that's not the audience for it after all. But I saw Thanksgiving and a pretty good crowd. And the crowd that was there seemed to be on board with everything that was going on in the movie. I'm not going to talk too much about the film. I will say this. I enjoyed it way more than I thought I would. It's a pretty perfect modern day slasher film. The Eli Roth knows what he's doing when it comes to a couple of specific things. I think he knows how to get a good laugh, not like a crafted joke laugh, and I think he knows how to gross out his audience a little bit. That's something I haven't seen from him in a long time. This guy knows Bisho, like he knows gore. Like his movies are gory. He goes there, and this is a conversation I had slightly with my brother Mike, who's taking umbrage when I keep saying this movie's gory or this movie's gory. He's like, all horror movies are gory, and I'm like, well, except for Five Nights at Freddy's, The Nun, Megan, all the ones making huge millions and millions of dollars have no gore in them. Insidious 4, there's none of this in any of these films, and they're the biggest movies of the year. So, but Bisho, I know you're not the biggest Eli Roth fan, but he really does. If you look at his work, he knows gore. Like he knows how to get that hard R gore out of a film.
Yeah, and he knows how to do it while not being rated X. Like there's a line too. Like even with Terrifier 2, there's certain people I wouldn't suggest that movie to because it's so over the top. But a movie like this, or even Hostel was uncomfortable, but you could still watch it. I don't want to say with a mainstream audience because it was pretty rough. But he finds a way to step on that line without going overboard. He shows enough restraint, but he makes it count when it happens. So just having that feel for it is a quality that not a lot of people have, and especially when it comes to horror movies. Like if you talk to someone like Mike has seen a billion horror movies. So if you say something's gory, it doesn't relate in that sense because he's seen so much other worse stuff.
Yeah, he's thinking August Underground, and those guys.
Yeah, and most people haven't seen those movies. Most people have just seen the classics. Or
I'm talking about Squares. I'm talking about your Blumhouse people, which we shit on all the time. But these movies make hundreds of millions of dollars on $20-30 million.
Right, and in that case, for that venue, wow, and like to your point, you're probably surprised at how gory it was, given that it's in that context. So
yeah, it's mainstream R, right? Mainstream horror R, right?
Yeah.
Shah, again, we've talked a little bit about Eli Roth's work. If you really think about his work, like you go to even Green Inferno, he knows how to gross out, and even going back to fucking Cabin Fever, he knows how to almost. I don't want to say in a whatchamacallit way, trauma way, but you know what I mean, Shah? We don't see a lot of mainstream or even close to the mainstream people doing that, especially in America. You know what I mean? When you see it, I feel like you notice it more now.
Well, I think now more than ever, we're starting to get more violent movies and gore in horror. Not just Terrifier. I mean, you look at even a movie like X. That had a decent amount of gore in there.
It did. Oh, for sure. Pearl.
Talk to Me. I mean, all these movies, When Evil Lurks, all these movies that we've been talking about. I mean, Infinity Pool, that stabbing scene, that's ultra fucking violent. I mean, come on.
But that is a Cronenberg, though. That is a Cronenberg.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it's more socially acceptable now. I feel like to put these scenes, people are used to it. But Eli Roth, to your point, was doing it when it wasn't so popular. You know what I mean? Like he was doing it with Hostel, where it legitimately shocked people because they hadn't seen that type of gore since the Grindhouse days. And during the Grindhouse days, like shit looked fake. It didn't look real, you know? So yeah, I will always credit him for being a gore hound. But again, I'm not the biggest fan, but I do like some of his work. He's 50-50 with me.
Yeah. Now,
You know?
now, Shah, what you've heard, you've been looking into this movie. You've heard nothing but good things about it too, right?
Yeah, so far all good things. From my understanding, is it like a comedy too? It's like a half.
How could
comedy?
it not be? I mean, just from subject matter alone.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a Thanksgiving. It literally is it's a horror movie that takes place on Thanksgiving and about Thanksgiving. How is that not funny? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
do you consider Terrifier a little bit of a comedy? Because how could you not laugh at some of that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Scenes? I mean, it's just,
yeah, I would say Terrifier was a comedy.
Okay.
Horror comedy.
Yeah, in some regards.
You know?
But I think you need to see it in a theater because even if there's not a lot of people in it, people are invested. Like I noticed it immediately. Like Tim Dillon, I forgot Tim Dillon's in the movie, and he has a pretty good part. He's not like a big star in it. It's mostly teenagers are in the movie or people playing teenagers. But people reacted to Tim Dillon immediately. Like they knew he was like B-Show. It reminded me of Chris Farley's cameo in Wayne's World. Like I'm not even joking. It was almost if Eli Roth comes around and goes, I got the idea from Chris Farley where he played the security guard in the first Wayne's World. I'm going to be like, I knew it. Like I'm dead serious. But people reacted like people would laugh, big laughs at the big laugh scene, big ooh at the big gross out scene. Like to me, that's a pacing like win. You know what I mean? And I feel like we don't see that enough.
Yeah, and I think there's a difference too, because we talked about it a couple of weeks ago with the new Terrifier trailer, which I have a different opinion on after hearing some comments on Twitter. The people who are able to, I guess, walk that line, they're balancing different things, and I guess they give something and then give something else to balance it out. If you look at, like we talked about, why is it okay to kill teenagers but not kids? Usually they set the teenagers up to be kind of shitty people, so you don't feel as bad. So
you want them to die.
Exactly.
Or you're not upset when they die.
Exactly. And then they temper some of the gore with some comedy or some comic relief, I should say. Whereas if you watch a lot of movies that, like, you can tell they want to do a gore fest because they've been fans of 80s gore filled movies, it's a lot like jerking off versus having sex. Like having sex, you're on a mission. There's a rhythm to it. You got to, work up, sometimes work back. If you're just trying to
put in the work,
off,
you got to get to that point. You got to earn it almost in a sense.
Exactly. Instead of, or even like we have a lot of wrestling fans that follow the show.
Sure.
It's the difference between a Flair Steamboat match and the Young Bucks just going, okay, and then I'll jump off the rope, and then you jump off the rope, and then you jump off the rope. It's completely different. So I think I don't want to say there's more artistry that goes into one than the other, but like in the case of Eli Roth, in the case of Wes Craven, in the case of John Carpenter, in the case of all the people who are usually talked about in that sphere, they are very good at balancing certain things to get what they want out of it without going too far in some ways. Like even Hostel was gross, but it served the purpose of ratcheting up the terror because he made you feel like you were in that situation at that point when it felt like you're strapped to the chair and this guy's doing this crazy shit. And it's almost like a cat mouse game or fishing. Like the guy starts to get up, and then when he starts getting up, he cuts his Achilles tendon. He can't walk. All right, how's he going to get out of this? He's got to find the cart to crawl off of. Oh God, now there's a dude burning bodies. I'm going to get caught. Now I got to pull the body, the nasty body, bleeding and dripping all over me. So it's not like just doing that stuff for the sake of showing it, like a lot of people will do in a more masturbatory sense. It's moving the story along and creating tension and giving and taking with that comic relief. So I think that above anything else is the difference between a lot of people who just do, I'm going to do a splatter movie and show everything. And other people are like, okay, I'm going to make something good and do that at the same time.
Yeah, I think I think this is going to be on everybody's top list. I'm just going to tell you guys this right now. It's definitely on mine. I enjoyed this so much. Shah, it was a perfect length. I didn't even feel like an hour and a half. It's probably about an hour 35. I think we could look. I'm curious. My only gripe with it, I have a gripe with it that I'm not going to say because the movie just came out. I think it would give away something in the film. My only gripe with it was it goes from year to year. So it starts one year and then it goes to another year. It's an hour 46. Okay. That's kind of perfect there. But so something happens on one Thanksgiving, and then it spills into the preceding Thanksgiving, and it's set around a bunch of teenagers. Um, me personally, this is just me. I, I I knew when I saw every one of these people that they were in their 20s, like there wasn't a teenager in the bunch. And when I actually did a deep dive, every single one of them was either 22 or 23. And they were playing 16 and 17. That I don't know. It's a minor gripe. That's just me. But Chris Matthews is saying he's going to see the Marvels this weekend with his family. He's going to see, but he's saying Roth does this stuff well. It's hardcore while also being artistic. I agree. Terrifier, while I loved it, I can only recommend it to certain friends, like a Serbian film, 100%. And he's saying Cabin Fever is low key an amazing film. Yeah, when I saw they remade that a couple of years ago, Shah, I said why, but then I was like, maybe Cabin Fever is kind of like a catalyst for a lot of this newer age horror. You know what I mean? Like, do you think that's possible? Because it is. That's a long time ago, right? I mean, that's a really long time ago, and it was sort of like, I don't want to say Evil Dead. That's not way to go, but do you think Cabin Fever like is like a low key cult classic, maybe to younger horror filmmakers and younger people?
I wouldn't call it a cult classic, but I would say it deserves to be a cult classic. I think that's the problem with it, is that not enough people talk about it. Because I literally never hear that movie mentioned at all. But I saw it in the theater, and I remember really enjoying it. I haven't seen it since then, though, so it's probably been like 20 years for me.
I haven't seen. Yeah, is it 20 years? Oh my, yeah. I
Yeah.
think we established. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah.
It came out when we were in high school, right?
Oh
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of like a Texas Chainsaw Evil Dead homage, don't you think, B-Show, a little bit?
It's like a virus movie.
Yeah, virus movie, but it's set in that cabin in the woods, far away. The locals are weird, that kind of vibe. I mean, this is.
I think it came around 28 days later. It's around the same time, right? Like,
which was a
virus
very
movie,
heavy
hot.
film. I mean, that was a heavy movie. Like,
But what I mean is, like, virus movies, it almost set a trend. I don't know if it was 28 days later or this one, but I remember during that era, we got a bunch of virus, like, zombie type movies.
Well, that was about the time that the new Dawn of the Dead, the Snyder one, came out, right? 2002, 2003.
Yeah. I think that movie's amazing. I'm a super fan of that movie. I think that's low key awesome. I loved it. I absolutely fucking loved it. It put Zack Snyder on the map. B-Show, like, what do you think? Do you have any feelings about Cabin Fever? The remake I found bizarre because it was about 3 years ago. But even then, that's like 17 years later to remake a film. It's a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember much about Cabin Fever, and I get it confused with, I think it's called Dreamcatcher. Isn't there another one called Dreamcatcher that's similar?
That's a Stephen King movie with a lot of famous people like Thomas Jane and like this big cast.
That's an alien movie. That's a Stephen King alien movie.
Because the only thing I really remember is like
movie.
there's a guy who's sick that goes out into the snow, and I don't remember what happens, but he's like falling apart or something. And the other scene I remember was that.
Yeah, you're thinking of Dreamcatcher.
You're thinking of Dreamcatcher.
Well,
I love
what's
Dreamcatcher.
the one where the
Shah,
girl
you a fan?
shaves her
I
leg?
think Dreamcatcher's amazing. I love that fucking movie.
Again, it's a long movie. I think it's like 3 hours. So
Yeah.
That's what I hated about it. It's just too fucking long, man. Like, a lot of those Stephen King adaptations, Storm of the Century.
Oh,
I love that
one,
movie, but it's too
Isn't that a
fucking long.
miniseries, Storm of the Century?
It is. Yeah, it was a TV series.
I was gonna say I had a birthday watching that. I tried to watch it all the way through.
Too long.
Yeah, and also I think The Mist. It's the 16th anniversary of The Mist.
Yeah, I just got that on 4K.
What a fucking! I'll die on that hill. Classic. That fucking movie is insane. Apparently, Frank Darabont, when he signed on, the director said, "I'll only do it if we can do this ending," because they wanted to do. There's actually an uplifting ending shot that if people haven't seen it, I think it's on the Blu-ray or it's on the extras. But just as far as bleak endings, if you're a bleak ending fan like me, B-Show, like that movie is like the Nirvana. I mean, like there's no bleaker ending than The Mist.
I didn't finish The Mist. I started watching it. That's the one where like they're trapped in the store and there's creatures coming out. Okay, so
it's almost like a play.
I got partway through it, and it, from what I was watching, it looked a little bit too much like The Fog, so I turned it off.
Oh, but, no.
I got to revisit.
No, it switches the whole last 10 minutes.
Okay.
Where it's at.
Yeah. That's a gem. I think
it's got pretty bad CGI bugs and stuff. Like, it's not the most appealing movie.
It doesn't hold up well, but the acting, I think, Shah, is like people are so they're selling that fucking movie.
Well, also the ending. The ending, I think the CGI looks really good from what I can remember.
Yeah.
And the end, just I don't want to obviously spoil it now because you haven't seen
amazing.
it, but it's dark. It's pretty fucking dark.
It's very dark. It's B-Show. You need to rectify that because the ending is going to sit with you for a long time. Shout out Slave Cheeks. Yeah, we did an early show for the holiday, and shout out to Slave Cheeks and of course Terrell T. He's saying you got to watch it. Terrell T is saying also The Mist has the most fucked up ending. Yeah, Joe Punchin, that ending. Oof. Yeah, the ending for The Mist. It's just this. I don't know, Shah. Like is there a more bleak ending to a movie? I don't know. It might be
Serbian film.
Serbian film is pretty bleak ending.
That ending is
well, we're comparing like a mainstream film with like Academy Award people.
Yeah, I mean, as far as mainstream, I'm sure there's some dramas that probably are a bit darker, but as far as horror, like this is one of those where you just I don't know, man, you just feel dreadful. Like it's just you feel bad, you know.
I remember the first time I saw it, I rented it like, like everybody else probably did so many years ago. And I remember thinking, imagine if you went to see this on a date with somebody you didn't know that well and you're walking out of the movie theater. I mean, it's that powerful. It's like, why did they do this? Why
is it worse than Storm of the Century where the guy who says he's not going to play the game ends up having to give his kid away to become the devil?
Kind of.
Is it along those lines? Okay.
Right. Yeah, it's in the line of that. Yeah, it's kind of yeah, it's pretty intense, dude. I love it. And where evil when evil lurks is a bleak ending, but I think The Mist might be if we talked about most fucked up endings, Mist might be my number one, Shah. Maybe number two behind Serbian film and Martyrs. I think those are my three. Like there's not enough hot water to take a shower after if you watch those three movies in a row.
Yeah, I'd agree with those. I'd probably put like Midsummer in there too. I thought that.
Oh yeah, that's a rough ending. Hereditary is a pretty rough ending too. Who are you kidding?
Yeah. I actually just had my girlfriend watch Beau Was Afraid and Hereditary for the first time this weekend.
Oh, what did she think?
She's in love with like Ari Aster now. She's like, holy fuck.
Genius.
Dude, she loved Beau Was Afraid because
I can't wait to watch it. I don't know why, nobody's picked it up for streaming yet, Shah.
Dude, you gotta watch that.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna probably watch it.
It's such a unique movie. Like you as a film fan, I think you.
Yeah,
really
I can't wait to watch it. I'm excited.
It's one of those where it's like it's one of a kind. You can't really compare it to anything else.
Well, we're gonna shift gears here a little bit, but I strongly recommend people check out Eli Roth's Thanksgiving. If you don't want to see a 3-hour epic war movie like a French Revolution movie, I would say go see it. Or if you want to see like a lighthearted indie art film. I'm going to see The Holdovers tomorrow, unless this kid flakes on me, which teenagers are known to do. But Shah, I wanted to get to this story in the free. So last week we did a pretty deep dive on Will Smith's sex life. That was a lot of fun. But there was another story brewing involving Sean Puffy Combs. I think he goes by P. Diddy or Puff Daddy or Sir Puff Salat. Or Puffy Bang Bang. I don't know what he goes by these days. I don't like to call middle-aged people by nicknames.
Brother Love, man.
Brother Love. There was a story going on underneath that story. The Will Smith story was kind of permeating because of the implications there. But there was a scandal involving Puffy and a woman who was bringing charges against him, which have since been sort of quelled by, I guess, a legal agreement. But Shah, we just didn't have time to get to it last week, but there's been a lot of developments in it. Can you bring people up to speed as to what actually had taken place and what's taken place since? Because this is a fucking crazy story in the music industry.
Well, the woman that you're referring to was actually his girlfriend for probably like a decade plus, and she was a singer. She was signed to him. Her name is Cassie. She's an artist. I remember she had one hit. And after that, she just kind of, stuck with Puppy. But the allegations are pretty crazy, man. I mean, he allegedly beat her many times on the regular. Sexual assault where he forced himself upon her. I'm not going to say the word because, YouTube. But
yeah.
And he also had her have sex with many other men in front of him. And when she shaved her head bald, he was the one that forced her to do it. Like all these crazy allegations, and apparently
like sexual, mental, and physical abuse, right?
Yeah. She also said sex trafficking.
Oh, well, yeah, he made her have sex with other people.
Yeah, and like, I think she got paid off $52 million from what they put out as the settlement. But a lot of other stories are coming around Tuffy now because there's a rapper named Wale and another rapper that's lesser known. I forget the guy's name.
Wale was a big WWE person, right?
Yeah.
WWE, yeah.
But apparently Wale was in the studio with Puffy and this other rapper, Grizzly. He didn't really know Puffy like that. So Wale had told him that, hey, like he's really, you know, kind of like self-conscious and he stands on his word. And he's kind of a crazy guy when it comes to his woman. And apparently something happened, I guess, where Wale looked at her wrong or made a comment or something like that. And apparently he had Wale dangled off the balcony like Suge Knight did to Vanilla Ice.
Really?
Like, this is a new story that's coming out.
Wow.
Usher came out and said that, you know, he was around Puffy when he was 13 years old. And he didn't go into detail, but the interviewer asked Usher if he would let his kid be in the same situation at the age of 13. And he said, absolutely not. I've seen some shit that I wouldn't want to comment on.
What?
There's a lot of, like, you know, subliminals being thrown around. I don't know, man. I mean, Puffy's name has been brought up in that Tupac murder over the last couple months. Like, this has not been a good year for the guy. And yeah, I mean, this is one of the quickest settlements I've ever. He paid her
Chris
off
Matthews
like
is saying that. Yeah, he settled fast.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of rumors about him with boys. You know, because you know apparently he's been bisexual for years. People have known that. I guess I didn't know that.
I didn't know that. I never heard that.
Yeah, but the rumors have been around.
So Bad Boy wasn't just a label for Puffy. It was
it was a lifestyle.
The lifestyle. He liked boys. He liked in a bad way.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle. But the shit with Cassie, man. I mean, I'm assuming more people are probably going to start coming out because this is going to be a train wreck for his fucking career, man. He can pay all these people off if he wants to, but that name has been tarnished now, man. I mean, this is sexual trafficking and you know, physical abuse, sexual abuse. It's kind of rough around, man, all around.
Yeah, I mean, so this is being corroborated, I think, after the fact because now she signed this agreement, correct?
Yeah, she can't talk about it anymore. She
can never talk about it again. But there's people, I mean, look, I mean, B-Show, as long as you've been alive, I mean, you know, Puffy probably broke when you were like a teenager, right? Like that whole Bad Boy, him and Biggie, you were what? You were, how old are you guys? Like 15, 14?
10?
Yeah, a little younger, but he was still relevant though when we were like 15. He was still, you know, doing shit.
Yeah, but so like, okay, this is fascinating to me because this is somebody who's been around. You guys are like in your pushing 40. I'm not you're pushing 40, but you're like in your late 30s, whatever. This is a guy who's been around since you were 10 years old. Okay. So B-Show, you play devil's advocate with me. Why would Puffy has been more powerful, more famous, way more in your lifetime in the past than he is now. If he had these proclivities, why do you think this would be a thing coming out now, just like a Will Smith? Why don't these things come out when they happen or at a time when the people are more vulnerable because they're more in the public eye? Puffy's not really in the public eye like he was when you were a teenager or in your 20s.
Because they're too powerful. And even though they have, you know, more to lose, essentially, they've got a lot more people around them. Like, look at wrestling. You went through the speaking out thing. I actually went back and listened to some of those episodes recently. And it's rough because there's people that are talked about that got mentioned that are still around. And because someone wants to give them a job or someone wants the rub. Like, think about it. If there's, let's say you go and you record with Diddy, right? And you see some fucked up shit. There's 10 other people waiting to come into that studio to record with him to be
probably
a part of Bad Boy.
People. Probably 100 other people.
Yeah, I'm just, you know, round numbers. But to that point, I think that's why, because when you've got that much to offer other people, not just about how much you have to lose, but when you have a lot more to offer other people, I think people feel protected. And like someone in the chat, I think it might have been Slave Cheeks, he said mobster stuff.
Yeah.
Or you talk about hanging people over, you know, terrorists by their ankles.
It's very mafia.
You're doing that shit to people. Or maybe he offhandedly mentioned something about being involved with Tupac's murder. And there's always been allegations there. Like, when someone's that rich, that powerful, that connected, and there's 100 other people waiting to come into the studio to put on a pair of headphones and get in front of a microphone with them just to be associated, it's probably really hard to come at him, which is why you see when people are on the downswing, Will Smith, him, others that we've seen, that's when people are willing to come out because they don't have that same sort of clout and cachet. So
Okay.
I think there's less fear because there's less, I guess,
You have less,
threat of reprisal. Yeah.
and maybe to play devil's advocate, it's more believable now because the person isn't on TV every day, in your face every day, reality show, video collaboration, whatever the fuck else he's doing. You know what I mean? Now, Shah, you wanted to play some of this Hassan Campbell video?
Yeah. But before that, as far as Cassie, like I think there's been so many people speaking out, so I think that builds some sort of confidence that people will actually listen to you, and also probably a lot of it is maturity. He got with her when he was almost 40 and she was 19. So her whole thing is that she's been brainwashed, and he just kind of like
right. She was vulnerable, and he was so famous.
Right.
The dynamics are.
So it may take her 10 years to kind of grow out of it. And, with podcasts and TikTok and all this, women empowerment and stuff, like there's a lot of, that topic is in the limelight now. That's been on the forefront. This is something that people did not talk about in 2002 necessarily,
Yeah, very true. Very true. It's also more acceptable to be believed. Unfortunately, it wasn't acceptable to be believed. Now, Shah, set the stage for us. Who is Hassan Campbell exactly?
Okay.
Because this looks like the Marcy Projects to me, but go ahead.
This is Bronx River Projects.
Bronx River, okay. Projects look all the same.
So that's where he's from. So Hassan Campbell is a really big time YouTuber. He's got about 500,000 subscribers. He's big time. He got famous because he was sexually molested by Afrika Bambaataa, the creator of
the boy
hip-hop.
booty hole story, right?
And he's the first guy that came out and talked about it, which is very brave of him. I'll always credit him for that, because in the hip hop scene, like a lot of people don't speak out, especially when he's talking about his manhood being taken. Like I think that's a topic that not a lot of men, I think, would speak on. You know what I mean? So
especially
I give him
in
a lot
hip-hop,
of credit.
especially in hip-hop.
Exactly. As homophobic as hip hop. I mean, I don't know so much now, because I feel like half the rappers that are gay now, so it's different. But back then, the era that he grew up in was very homophobic. Like for him to say that, it's pretty brave. So I'll always credit him for that. He is a fucking crazy man. I don't agree with 99% of the things he says because he's crazy, but I charge that to him probably not ever getting over that trauma. Because he seems like a very confused man, because he was also around Afrika Bambaataa doing security for him when he was in his fucking 30s and 40s. So it's like,
until
I don't understand. Like if why are you still around him then? You know what I mean? Like it just doesn't.
I mean, it's a power dynamic though. That's the thing,
right?
Power dynamic.
So what he did is he's mad that Cassie got paid off because of the Puffy thing, and no one paid him attention when he brought his sexual allegations to the forefront. So his whole thing is now he's going to Bronx River, where Afrika Bambaataa lived. They lived in the same building. So Afrika Bambaataa pretended to be like a father figure for him, and he groomed him, essentially, according to him. So he went to the Bronx River Projects to call everyone out.
Oh, God. And
he's just standing there at the projects, just screaming and going batshit crazy. And he's carrying a knife.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And at one point, somebody from up top, I'm guessing the rooftop, because I've seen the projects in New York. They have bars on the windows, so you can't really throw anything.
This looks
out.
like every project from Coney Island to the Bronx.
So I'm assuming somebody's on top of the rooftop, and they start throwing bottles at him. And they throw 5 or 6 bottles at him. So started off at the 14-minute. Go to 14 minutes exactly.
14 minutes. Okay, let's see.
14 minutes exactly is when the bottle starts. Turn it up a little bit. You see the knife right there?
Jesus.
And this is like random people walking by. He's thinking that these are the people that threw bottles at him. Like this could have gone left real bad. And now go to 16 minutes. And you'll see the bottle almost hit him. But they threw like 5, 6 bottles at him. Look.
That nigga's crazy though. Bronx, Afrika Bambaataa raped the whole community.
Jesus.
He raped the old G's, the little G's, the young G's, and nobody gave a fuck. But everybody give a fuck about Cassie?
Hmm.
All y'all care about Cassie?
He's hurt. You can look at
Come outside.
Jesus.
Don't throw a fucking bottle. You faggot ass nigga. Come outside. Throw a bottle.
And this goes on for like 20 minutes where there's bottles.
Oh my God, dude.
Come outside, you faggot ass nigga.
Well, there
Now,
goes YouTube, guys. We'll see you next week.
Well, no, I mean, this is his channel's monetized and it's on YouTube, so it's not gonna.
Faggot ass nigga.
Go to 1940.
Wow, it almost looks like it's green screen. Does anybody else think it looks like?
Oh,
a
you're
green
exactly. You see that?
Jesus.
That
Yeah.
bottle almost hit him from up top, dude. That could have killed him.
Come outside.
So he's
Green
basically the cash me outside chick.
Come outside.
So the thing is, though,
Cash me outside.
so I have a conspiracy theory.
Y'all see what
You
they
can
going
pause
out
it
the
now.
window? Nigga, I got an arm.
His
so-
his eyes seem like you see like something's wrong with this dude, man. His eyes
Yeah.
are all fucked up, right? Right?
Yeah, I
Bisho?
mean,
Like,
I really think he needs help, man. I think this
look at
guy,
his eye. Honestly, like his eye, like this is a disturbed human.
he's in
being.
pain. You can tell this guy never got over it. He's
Now, that
hurt.
doesn't mean that he's making it up, but like his credibility kind of gets shot when he's, I don't know, shouting expletives with a knife standing in front of the Cross Bronx projects, right, Bisho? I mean, like, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. He's yelling at citizens of the projects instead of like talking Entertainment Tonight. And he looks like a madman and he's got a knife.
Well,
God,
to be
Yeah.
fair, though, they're throwing bottles at him from
yeah, they're throwing. Well, yeah, this is a housing
200
project
feet in the
fucking
air.
Bronx. This isn't some fucking easygoing neighborhood. Slave Cheeks goes R.I.P. the stream.
So
And then
Or
Digital
Digital
Lizard
Lizard.
goes, is he the hip hop Corey Feldman?
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Wow,
yeah,
Digital
essentially.
Lizard. Wow.
Yeah, essentially. So the conspiracy theory that I have is that this is staged.
It looks like he's in a green screen. I'm
No,
sorry.
he's
I know
definitely
it's
in the
not.
projects. He's definitely in the
You
projects.
guys don't see it looks like a green screen? Like
Nah,
he's-
There's
I don't
people
know.
moving in the background. There's people.
No, I know
interacting
he's
with
not.
him.
I'm just saying, like, the appearances is this. I mean, like, Shah, his thing is basically you like this girl got 52 million. All these people took her side. Why didn't these people take my side when I said I was getting raped by Afrika Bambaataa? I mean, people believed him. I mean, his story was considered credible. Isn't Afrika Bambaataa like going to trial or something like that? Like, or there's
No,
a whole-
I think somebody else put charges on him because a lot of people came out after this. I mean, this is all alleged, but it's. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like, fucking everybody has said this has happened. Everybody that was around the Zulu Nation at the time has
Yeah.
confirmed that Afrika Bambaataa was touching kids. You know what I mean?
Wow, that is some scary shit. Because Afrika Bambaataa was like an OG of hip hop. Marquis says it looks like a '90s public access TV.
Yo, but the thing is, I think he staged this. And the reason why I say this is because this is live on YouTube. And at the end, it goes to him saying that he got shot. Like, play this right here.
Renegades of Spunk, Slave Cheek says.
This is like that Dr. Steve Brule show on Adult Swim, but hip hop version.
And then here he's driving himself. And he did legitimately get shot. Because I mean, he did another live from the hospital where he took
got
the
shot?
bullet out. Yeah, he got shot.
When did he get shot?
Come on, go.
2 days ago.
Go straight. I need to get to the hospital.
So he didn't get shot on the stream, did he?
That's what the story is that he got shot at the projects for going out there and talking crazy. But it sounds crazy, man, but I would not put it past this guy if he shot himself and staged this whole thing.
Or if he
'Cause
paid
he's-
somebody to shoot him?
Yeah, because he's that much of like a clout chaser. At age 50,
Yeah.
you should not be going to the Bronx River projects because this guy is rich. Like, he's fucking filthy
From
rich. If you
YouTube,
see
right?
his
He's rich
house-
from YouTube.
Yeah, he's making insane money from YouTube. So it's like, dude, why are you going to this level? Like, I don't understand what he's trying to accomplish because whoever's living in the Bronx River projects now, this is 35, 40 years later, man. This is not
Yeah.
the same people. They don't give a fuck. They don't know you. You're out
It's
there
just-
talking crazy, making it hot, screaming.
Waving a knife around. I don't know.
Yeah,
man.
waving a knife at random people.
Like
It's
the
Sunday
empathy
morning.
is slowly leaving the station. Chris Matthews says, "Bisho, I feel sorry for this man. It's clear something awful happened to him." I don't know that that's even like the issue at this point. It's there's people who are victimized, that are brutalized and are victims of crime, but we don't just give them a clean slate. Their behavior, right, Bisho? Like there's still a decorum that you have to follow.
Yeah, there's understanding, and then there's like allowing shit to happen. Like if Corey Feldman came out, because he's very public and
he
Digital
said
Lizard
quite a few
mentioned.
things about quite a few famous people.
Yeah,
He's
but
probably being accurate about it.
he also shot a documentary and was raising money for it on TV. And I believe it was the Today Show. Matt Lauer's asking him, like, why don't you name these people? And he's like, well, we have to raise the money and we need to, like, I need to protect myself. So you can buy this pay-per-view stream where you're all going to
Bisho,
find
you almost
out.
had a good Corey Feldman there. Can you do more of that voice? I liked it.
Almost. I got distracted by my dog.
Okay. Give me a little bit more of that Corey Feldman.
I never saw Michael Jackson touch anybody, but, you know, he could have. We like to party in the 80s. I gotta think of some material, man.
Yeah, he's a little slower because his brain is a little slower than ours. So Corey,
Yeah.
so it's a slower pace.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
Stand By Me. I don't know.
yeah, Corey, we know you were excellent in that. Yes, Kevin Castle, we are live. We're doing an early holiday episode.
So,
Look,
John, real quick.
I'll say this though. Do I think what he's saying has a lot of validity? Absolutely. Why is he? If anything, he should be. Hey, I'm really happy for this girl that got sexually abused by Puff Daddy for 20 years. And I'm glad that's coming to light because
also
that happened to me.
He's not looking at it from a half glass full perspective because, you know, that whole situation is what gave him the platform where he's now making millions of dollars. So he could almost look at this as like, okay, I can do something positive with the negativity in my life. Like, sure, that's going to traumatize you for the rest of your life.
Right.
But now it got you a following of 500,000 people. And now you can legitimately make money. You moved out of the projects. You don't live in the Bronx anymore.
Oh, no.
You live in New Jersey. You know what I mean? So the thing is, like, John, I mean, obviously you don't know too much about the technology of YouTube and stuff, but Bisho can probably co-sign
I'm old
this.
as fuck, so yeah.
When you do a live stream on YouTube, right? You are live, right? You either premiere the video or you are live. He claims this is live because in the video, he's looking at the chat and saying, I'm not going home. He's saying all the stuff to make it look like it's alive. My theory is that this is set up and this is a pre-recorded video that he uploaded, because how can you be live at the projects and a second later it clips to you in the car? Like, how does that even make sense? No one questions this. And I'm just like baffled by how many, like thousands of people. You know, I mean, this video's got 250,000 views.
Jesus.
No one's talking about how this is. You can't fast forward time, sir. If you're alive, you can't jump from the projects to the car. How does that make sense?
Probably because it's staged, Bisho. What do you think?
Yeah, I was listening to someone talk about it earlier, and they said that someone else was in the car with him and said, pull the car over. I'll call you an ambulance because you can't drive. And he kept insisting that he drive himself to the hospital. And I've never been shot before. I don't know if you wouldn't believe it, but at the same time, I don't think I'd want to be driving myself to the car if I was shot, or to the hospital if I was shot. You know what I mean?
Well, look, I don't know. This all could be theater. I don't know. Hey, Bisho, Slave Cheeks really wants you to do a Corey Feldman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle quote because your Corey Feldman's good.
Hey, Mikey, did you ever think about what Splinter said last night? You know, but not having him.
I got to revisit those old Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies while I'm dusted out of my mind. But Shah, let me ask you a question. Does this hurt a guy like that whose brand is this, or does this just make him more popular?
No, I think it's just going to make him more popular. That was his goal, was to go more viral.
Okay.
People are going to be, you know, amping him up to do more live streams. And like, again, this could either be completely staged and he's just immature and doesn't know how to handle himself as a 52-year-old man.
Wow, he's 52.
Or,
Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, dude, he was around Afrika Bambaataa times.
I know. I'm 52. You know? My beard is 78, but my years is 50.
But what worries me is this man has cried on live stream multiple times. Like, you can tell this guy he needs help. He needs help. You know,
his
what I mean?
He looks like just like Chris Matthews. He looks, something happened to this guy. It could be everything he said, even if it's a scintilla of what he's alleging. It's brutalizing to be 52 and screaming into a YouTube in the middle of the fucking Bronx while people throw bottles at you while you have a Cub Scout knife. I don't know, man. It's hard for me to be on your side. But I don't know. I take away this. I don't know you, because me and Bisho know probably the equal least about this. When I see that guy's face and I see him talking, he looks like a crazy person on the subway, like going from car to car, just cursing people out over their ethnicity. What do you think, Bisha?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like he's not right. It looks like
Yeah.
something may have happened to him, but it almost feels like he's less mad about people not supporting him and more mad that he hasn't been able to capitalize on it monetarily. You know what I mean? And maybe
or
it's just
attention or favorable attention.
yeah,
Well, in
because
the video, because it's like an 18-minute video, he says it's not about money. He said he wanted street justice,
Oh,
aka probably having him taken out of the earth.
Right.
But it's like, dude, if he did that to you, why don't you do that? You
Yeah,
claim
exactly.
like
Yeah.
you can't expect the world to do that for you. If you believe in street justice, if that's how you, and again, I don't disagree with him, because if that's what happened,
I don't
to him,
disagree
hey,
with him
man,
either. If what he's saying
somebody
is
did
true,
that to me, I'd do the time for
Green
it.
light.
I'm thinking about
I got no
Well-
problem. Look, I don't know that there's a lower form on earth than a person who molests children. That's it. I think that's the bar. Everything
Yeah.
comes after that, B-show, right? I mean, everything comes after someone who takes advantage of a child sexually. You're the number one, right? I mean, as far as scumbag goes.
yeah, I think there's a pretty healthy percentage of the population that would like to see those people drown in a river.
Oh, yeah.
And there's some people that say like, "Oh, well, they may have been victimized too." It's like, sorry, I'm not taking that chance. It's just
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you can't get universal love for being the victim of a sexual assault as a child, and like sort of exposing that, like that's the bar. I think that's the bar. Period. I mean, whether it's him or that Afrika Bambaataa doing that to him, or that Larry Nasser guy doing it to fucking our gymnasts for the last 30 years and sexually assaulting 11-year-old gymnasts, while coaching them. Or even like a Jeffrey Dahmer, like who drugged and raped men and then dismembered. Like this is it. Like we're all on board, right? So I don't think you have to fight for favorability for that. I mean, I think this guy is mentally ill. On top of the fact that he might have been the victim of a hellacious series of sexual assaults, and he's not getting help. Shah, has he ever mentioned getting any sort of help?
No. Yeah, I think he's never gotten help. And he's gotten worse over time. You know what I mean? Because and people watch because it's a car crash. You know what I mean? That's why people watch.
Older.
That's why when he does a live, there's 14,000 people in his live. Like
wow,
they're waiting for the car crash because he cries on the air. He does crazy things. He says things that I can't even repeat. He threatens people all the time. The thing I really hope he does get help though, because to me it's either completely staged or this man has a death wish and he wants to be taken out.
Yeah,
going to the project and saying, he's screaming where the shooter's at, and then he gets shot.
Yeah,
it's like, yo, you brought a knife to a gun. You're screaming for a gunfight.
You literally brought a knife to a gunfight, Shah.
Like, what are you doing?
We should call this episode "Don't Bring a Knife to a Gunfight."
Yeah, you're worth millions, and you have children at home. What are you doing?
I just wouldn't be acting this way if I had that kind of. I mean, look. We don't. Maybe one day we'll get YouTube famous and we'll be shouting in front of our enemies' buildings with a Cub Scout knife, shouting expletives. Doubt it, but we have a bunch of stuff we want to get to on Patreon. We have a lot of fun stuff we're going to talk about there. So we're going to wrap this up. We're going to get to our plugs. Let's plug Deathmatch Outlaws. Let's plug the Drew Yari Experience. Cassette Classics 86 on YouTube, and of course the Down on the Thundercast. Don Tony, he's been banging out shows with Kevin Castle on the regular. Necromaniacs podcast, they'll be celebrating their 10th anniversary coming up. Excited for them. The Human Experience podcast, and of course the return of Ringsiders Wrestling. I'll be with the boys this weekend talking Survivor Series on Sunday, so keep an eye out for that. And of course we got Mojo and Dirk's Most Dastardly Show, The Garden of Doom. And we have Old Guy Metalcast and, of course, funkbetty.com. It's cold out. Warm up with some wonderful clothes from our good friend Ronald Anderson's clothing line over there at funkbetty.com. MJW Games and Cherry Jesus on YouTube. His band Kaiser. I just spoke to him today. You can download his album, his band Kaiser. And, of course, we have the Red River Podcast. I think I might be joining up with Sam Hoyos to do another episode with Sam in the near future. And, I'm excited about that. His band Playing Dead. And we got Bio Geeks, the lovely Fatty 316. And, of course, the Midnight Mass Creature Cast, a weekly detour with Anthony Alston and his pal, Teddy. Guns and Geeks podcast. Shah, anything happening on the old Planet Mondo?
So I'm actually I'm working on a video on Hassan Campbell's where I'm doing a deeper dive on this.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay.
that should be out probably sometime next week.
Oh, I can't wait to listen to that.
I'm trying
Next
to clip
week?
together kind of like, his history on YouTube and his breakdowns. And
Maybe we can get him on the show. Maybe he'll do the show. Say,
I
listen,
doubt
I
it.
should be like, listen, I deal with an unstable 52-year-old every week on my podcast.
Yeah.
That's what you should tell him. Say, listen, I'm used to 52-year-olds saying crazy shit. So if you want to come on the show, because 52-year-old crazy people, we all know each other. But I'm excited to hear about that. I want to go deeper into this because I always learned so much about this stuff from you because you're the one who brought this to our attention a couple of years ago when Afrika Bambaataa, who in my history was a legend in hip hop. I mean, he was OG hip hop, Renegades of Funk, OG, the Soul Sonic
The
Force.
creator. They give him credit as the creator.
Zulu Nation. This is like the byproduct of New York hip hop. This is the blueprint. And meanwhile, he might have been doing some very disgusting, disturbing things with children. I can't put the two together. It's insane. But everybody, please subscribe to Planet Mondo. Of course, hit that like button and subscribe. B-Show Brian, you just banged out a Burley episode. What else you got cooking?
I'm starting to slow down a little bit work-wise, so I've got some shit cooking up in the lab. So stay tuned. bshowpodcast.com. I don't know. I did that show the other night, and I thought, you know what? I could probably do an hour a week or so, do a stream.
Look at this.
So yeah,
Inspirational.
Absolutely. And all thanks to you guys for getting my ass up and doing it. So
well, there you go. Well, people love it. You got a lot of love here from the people over at the Spitball Media world, of course. So
absolutely. Thanks, guys. And also shout out to Joe Punches for that awesome turkey artwork he sent our way. He said more's coming.
Yes, so. Joe. Thank you. I forgot that came from Joe from the AI thing that he did. Shah, wasn't that amazing? The Spitball Media. We got to use that graphic this week.
Yeah, man. AI is scaring me nowadays.
I know. Well, I'll be dead. You know what? You guys will be doing a show with me when I'm dead because you'll just AI me.
We just have AI Draper, yeah.
AI Draper. It's going to be amazing. But listen, we have a bunch of stuff we're going to get to on a short little Patreon episode for you guys in Patreon. Everyone else in the free, please have a safe, wonderful, incredible Thanksgiving. We love you guys very much. We want you to have a happy, safe holiday. If you're working, I'm sorry, but I want you to be safe and make some money. If you're being alone, do something productive and fun that you'll enjoy to put a smile on your face. Maybe volunteer. Maybe that could be something you could do. There's always some volunteer. And if you're traveling, drive safe. And we'll see you guys full holiday mode next week. Regular bat time, regular bat channel on Spitball Media Podcast.
Peace.